Hello and good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your captain speaking, and welcome to We Educate Racing. In this video, we're going to go over how to tune your transmission in Forza Horizon 5. But before we do, we need to go pick up our racing transmission. For the sake of this video, we're just going to go with the 6-speed transmission. 7, 8, and 9, you can pretty much tune the same way. Just be a little bit different, but we're not going to go over that in this video because whatever you learn in this video you can carry it over to those videos. But if you still want me to make a video on these, then go ahead and request for it in the comment section below, and then I will get to it as soon as I can. But for now, 6-speed transmission is what we're going to go with, and then we're going to install it, and then we're going to go into our tuning page. Tuning, custom tuning, and then gearing. Okay, before we get to tuning each individual gears, we just need to go over the terminology first, just so you guys understand what each gear is intended for, what it's for. Okay, first gear is what I call the standing gear, the gear that gets you to accelerate from standing. Second gear is your acceleration gear, the gear that carries you to speed. Second gear is acceleration gear. Third gear is your power gear, the gear that translates torque very well. And if you drive a manual transmission, shift it in the third and punch it, you feel the G-force sending you to the back seat. Everybody loves third gear. That's the power gear. Okay. Fourth gear is your main drive, the gear that translates engine power, torque, engine torque to a 1-to-1 ratio. So technically, fourth gear normally would read 1.00 normally, but every car is different. So fifth gear is your overdrive, and sixth gear is your double overdrive, and then 7, 8, 9, 10 is just more overdrive. But the main drive is usually where 1.00 is. Overdrive is intended for fuel management, but because it's as in the engine doesn't have to work so hard to get the car going fast. Okay, but because Forza Horizon does not feature fuel, we can set 1.00 in sixth gear. 1.00 is very important. Very, very, very important. If your gears are not set like this, then something is wrong. Well, I mean, there's a way of alternating this, but for right now, we're just talking about road tuning, race tuning your transmission. We're not talking about rally, we're not talking about drift, we're not talking about drag. This is just for everyday, not everyday, but just standard driving. Okay. The next thing we need to go over is your second gear, the acceleration gear, the gear that gets you to accelerate when you're out of a corner. You're almost always in second gear. Okay. The window for this is between 1.8 and 1.8 and 2.2. This is just my recommendation. And again, this is just for your base setup for your transmission. Okay. In the future, I'm going to go over advanced transmission tuning, but for right now, this is just a general setup so you guys can tune your transmission on your own. Okay. Again, 1.8, 2.2. The difference between these two is a torque delivery. And the higher the value, the more torque. The lower the value, the more speed. Okay. But because second gear is where we're trying to accelerate, I'm going to set mine to 2.2. Not to mention, I'm going to use 18-inch rims. I plan on using 18-inch rims for this car. So I'm going to leave it 2.2. If you want to use, say, 20-inch rims, then you're going to need a lot more torque to turn that wheel. So maybe 2.4, 2.5. If you're going to use maybe like 15-inch rims on heavy-duty off-road monster truck tires, then you're going to need a lot more torque to turn those tires, to turn the tire. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But because we're on the road, we're on the streets, you know, we're just going to leave ours at 2.2. Okay, now that we have these two values set, we can tune for third, fourth, and fifth. These values in particular do not matter. The only thing that we need to be concerned about is the gaps in between On the graph. If you look at the graph, the space in between. I'm gonna stretch this out so you guys can see it a little bit better. The gap in between second and third. You see the gap in between. Well, the gap in between third and fourth should be tighter compared to second and third, and so on with fourth and fifth, and more so with fifth and sixth. It gets much closer the higher you go. This setup is my personal preference. It's up to you as the driver to set it like this. Alternatively, you can flip it. What I mean is, instead of the gears being tighter on the top end, you can make the gears wider on the top end, and which means they're going to be closer on the bottom end, leaving 2.2 where it is. So tighter in the bottom end, and then it gets wider and wider the higher gear we go. Okay. The benefit of this is that you can get to sixth gear faster. Reason is because all of these gears is, again, as mentioned, the higher the value, the more torque delivery. It's easier to spin, but you don't have speed. So by the time you carry enough speed, you already have to shift gear because it's so short. Okay, but then the higher you go, the longer it takes. The benefit that you get out of it is that it takes longer to spin the higher gears. Therefore, you're stretching out how long you're on the torque curve, on the horsepower curve. You're on it longer, therefore using the horsepower for longer. Okay, you only reach peak horsepower when you're near red line. So the closer you are, or the longer you are on the peak horsepower, that just means you're using more horsepower at any given time. That's all that means. The more horsepower you put on the track, that usually translates to you going as fast as possible. Okay, now because I want my gears like this, the benefit of this is because the lower gears, it takes the lower gears easier to spin. It's easier to spin the lower gears, but because we're stretching them, it's going to take longer to on the lower gears to spin before you have to shift, which also means you're on the horsepower much longer on the lower gears as well. And then as you go higher, because it takes these gears to spin longer, and because they're so much shorter, we're going to the shifting would stay closer to red line, which in turn allows us to use more horsepower. So, but again, this is just my personal preference. I want my gears to be set like this, and then alternatively, if you as a driver wanted to have it the other way, that's totally up to you too. That's totally fine. This gear set in particular will feel like a Formula One car shifting. The gears are really close on the top end, and then because the lower gears spool faster anyway, it's almost like these gears sound like they're spaced evenly. But yeah, that's just because of how gears work and how long it takes to spin them, etc. Okay, so yeah, now moving on, we have finalized how we want our gear ratios to be. The cool thing with Forza Horizon is that you can carry these values across all of your six-speed transmission cars. So go ahead and take a screenshot or write it down in your phone or piece of paper, whatever. You can use these values for all your six-speed transmission cars. Okay. The only difference is going to be your final drive. Okay. If you look on the bottom right of the screen, you see 197. That is the game's theoretical top speed for this car and all my upgrades and all of that. Okay, but in some cases, the car will never reach 197. It's like it needs to either be drafting or going on a downhill to even get to that speed, with the car's horsepower and torque and all that, the way it's shaped, all that, aerodynamics. I mean, okay. So instead, what we're going to do is look at the bottom left at the top speed parameter, and then we're going to lower the value of our final drive to increase the top speed. So let's say we'll leave it at 290, and then let's see if that went up. I didn't see what it was before, so we'll just assume that it went up, and then we're gonna keep going. 179.2, 179.3, 179.4. Okay, if I go any higher, let's see if it goes up any higher. 179.5. Okay, 179.4 is the fastest this car will go. Not the theoretical top speed, but according to the gears that we have. Okay. But see, here's the thing. I would rather choose more torque versus more speed for the top speed. The reason is because I need the torque to push the car's top speed. Versus if it only had top speed, then there's no torque pushing the top speed any faster. If that makes sense. I still want some torque to push the car even faster, or at least so that it maintains top speed. Because if you don't have any torque on the top end, then horsepower won't be enough to push the car to speed. Obviously, look, the more speed that we require, the more that we need, the car just won't go any faster. It just will physically not go faster. It's the way the car is shaped, the amount of horsepower, it just will not go any faster. Wait a second, 179? Did it go up? 79? Oh, yeah, 179.4? 179, no. Yeah, I'm losing speed. But so 179.4 was the fastest that I saw. So I want to make it so that I'm producing the most torque without losing speed. Okay, so if I increase torque one more time, I lost speed. So this is about the lowest or the highest I will go in terms of torque without losing top speed. Cool? All right. Now, this is just for road racing, guys. Okay, we haven't gone over what gears would look like for rally, for drift, for drag. We haven't gone over that yet. For 7th, 8th, 9th, right? We haven't gone over that yet. I will do those in future videos. Again, this is just so that you guys can tune your transmission. Hopefully you guys have picked up all you need to pick up in this video to tune for other gears, but if not, please go ahead and put it in the comments section. Request what it is that you guys want specifically, and I will make that video just for you guys. The cool thing is, when one person requests one video, anybody else who's interested will benefit. And there's millions of us drivers, racers, so everybody's going to benefit. It's going to be great. Okay, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, guys, so you guys don't miss out when the alignment video comes out, which will be right after this video. And then if you guys just like the content or learn how to tune your gears in Forza Horizon, go ahead and hit the like button. The algorithm really likes it, and I definitely appreciate it. My little girl benefits from it. You guys know how that works. And so yeah, until the alignment video, guys, wishing you guys a good rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.